Today we're going to be talking about a stock that has gone up over 65% year to date, and that is none other than Meta. We'll discuss their new augmented reality glasses known as Orion, and we'll discuss their EPS over the previous 5 years and how that growth rate over the next 5 years could translate to a stock price of over $1,000. And as always, if you enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe for more videos like this one. Before we jump into Meta, let's take a look at the portfolio. Right now, it's sitting at a total value of just over $52,000. And within this portfolio, I have positions such as Alibaba, Apple, Microsoft, Palantir, PayPal, SoFi, and Visa. You'll notice right away that I don't own any Meta in this portfolio, and that's because I own a very large position in my other brokerage account. At the end of the day, what I tend to look for in stocks is turnaround plays. You'll notice that a lot with Alibaba and PayPal right now, and even at the time when I was buying Apple back in 2018, it was very much its own turnaround play. And the same is true for Meta. Meta a couple years ago was very much a turnaround play. With the investments that they were making into the metaverse, a lot of investors did not see how this was going to translate to profits in the future, and Meta fell in a major way. And during that time period, I was adding a large position in my larger brokerage account. However, in this smaller account, I've only been building it out over the last year and a half, so I haven't added any Meta. Besides these individual stock positions, which make up $9,700 within the portfolio, I do also own 2 dividend ETFs, SCHD as well as VYM. I was building these out over 2022 when a lot of dividend stocks were down, and that's why I've been able to return some decent numbers over the last year and a half, and these make up around $29,000. In the future, what I hope to do is sell out of at least one, if not both of these positions, and move that money into more individual stocks. That also kind of leads into my cash position. Right now, my cash position is sitting around $13,000 because I think the market is probably on the higher end, and I'd like to see it come down and potentially allow me to buy into some more individual stocks. And if we were to see a large drop in the stock we're going to be talking about here today, Meta, I would definitely be looking to buy in. This stock year to date has ran up 66%, and over the course of the last year, it's up almost 90%. If we look at the last 5 years, up around 220%, but from its lows back in November of 2022, this stock has ran up over 500%. And obviously, a stock running up 500% is very exciting, but one of the most exciting things going on with Meta right now is their new augmented reality glasses known as Orion. Do you remember when Apple came out with the Vision Pro headset? A lot of investors brought up the concern that they thought that Meta had fallen behind in the headset industry, and Apple had now taken the lead. The use cases behind the Vision Pro headset were very evident from Apple's demos, and a lot of people saw this and saw how it could be used in everyday life. However, there were 2 major concerns with the Vision Pro. The first being the bulkiness of the headset, and the second being the large cost. And Meta appears to have solved at least one of these issues. Their new headset Orion is a little bit larger than the average pair of glasses. This makes them a lot easier to wear for an extended period of time. The second problem appears to be a problem within the industry because the price point for Orion is currently estimated at $10,000. However, one thing to keep in mind is when companies go to produce these prototypes, the costs tend to be on the higher end because they're making one prototype or just a few of these prototypes. When you actually convert this production over to a mass scale, a lot of the costs start dropping off and it becomes a lot more efficient to actually produce these items. In my opinion, I think a great price point for Meta to target would be under $1,500. That would be equivalent to somewhere around a new smartphone, which ultimately Meta is looking to target that market. They see their new augmented reality glasses as potentially being the new platform that overtakes phones. And Mark Zuckerberg even talks about this on an interview that he did with The Verge. He goes into a lot of details around how 5 to 10 years ago, they started looking at the phone market and wondering what was the next platform. They saw computers kind of come and go, and then they saw the phone emerge as the next market, and Meta gradually transformed their platforms over to mobile mobile. However, their next vision was what is the next big thing? And they believe that is augmented reality. So they have now built out this ecosystem of apps, and they're now looking to control the hardware behind where those apps are actually presented. When I think about this strategy that Meta is trying to deploy, it reminds me very much of Apple. When you think of the 90s and 2000s, you think of Apple as being a Mac company. However, they noticed a shift in the industry that was primarily a lot of people going over to mobile. And when Apple saw this, they started developing the iPhone. And the iPhone has taken off. It has been the bread and butter of Apple. And I think that this new headset could be the same thing for Meta. And if they execute at a high level on this opportunity, we will obviously see big impacts to both their top and bottom lines. Their revenue right now is sitting at $150 billion. I think this could obviously explode in the future if they build out hardware that a lot of people are utilizing. And with an increase in revenue, I would also expect their bottom line to increase as well. Their trailing 12-month EPS is sitting at $19.56. If we go back to the end of 2018, they were bringing in $7.57 of trailing 12-month EPS. That means in the past 5 years, Meta's EPS has grown at a compound annual growth rate of 18.8%. If we assume a consistent growth rate over the next 5 years, that means the trailing 12-month EPS for Meta will be sitting at $44.75 by the end of 2029. And we can use that EPS number plus Meta's valuation to come up with price targets. Right now, valuations for Meta on the trailing basis are sitting at 29.28, while the forward P ratio is sitting at 23.75. So I'm going to assume a valuation over the next 5 years of somewhere around a 25 PE ratio. What that means is by 2028, Meta could have a stock price of around $950. And by 2029, their stock price could reach well over $1,000. And really, those estimates are based on their current business model. If we see their new headset take off in a major way, especially with how Mark Zuckerberg is talking about how they can integrate AI technology into the headset better than phones can potentially be utilized for AI technology, there could be a massive upside to not only their revenue, but also their EPS numbers over the next 5 to 10 years. But as I always say, don't buy a company just because I talked about it here on YouTube. Make sure you are doing your own research and looking into companies that meet your risk tolerance as well as your time horizon. With all of that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. And as always, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. And for the joke of the day, why did the computer get glasses? Check the comments down below for the answer. Thanks for watching.